One of the determining factors on why training is something that will always make its way back into my lifestyle. Currently, I've gone down a Mike Mentzer rabbit hole. Mike Mentzer was a bodybuilder that came up in the golden era of bodybuilding, known for his controversial approach to bodybuilding. He was a believer in high-intensity training, only training once every 4 to 7 days. This approach really lit a light bulb in my head, with this being a great way for me to train and still apply myself to my skills in Jiu-Jitsu. The idea of only possibly weightlifting 1 or 2 times a week seems like a more balanced approach when trying to balance weightlifting and Jiu-Jitsu. Another note, these 1 or 2 sessions a week that you're training are going to be hard and at very maximal intensity. Another reason why I've been enjoying this approach, it's the simplicity of it. 4 exercises and 1 set per exercise for a total of 4 sets total on the training session. There are some warm-up sets, some build-up sets to get blood flow into the muscles. There's also techniques used for slow eccentric, drop sets, rest pause methods to help maximize on time under tension and the intensity of the training. This approach has really made me question all of my beliefs when it comes to actually building muscle and strength in the weight room. The concept really took me for a loop of the possibility of building a great physique on only just 2 training days. Now that being said, you're really going to get after it like I mentioned before. Those days are going to bring out your full potential. You're really going to test yourself, and you really have to bring yourself to failure for this to work. And then recovery occurs for the next 4 to 7 days before you get back in the gym. Another reason why this approach really intrigues me, one of the biggest challenges for grappling athletes is the balancing of weightlifting routines with their jiu-jitsu practice and their skill acquisition when it comes to their practice. Like I mentioned before, with only 1 or 2 days in the weight room, this clears up a little extra space on your schedule to really focus on the skill acquisition and the development of your jiu-jitsu, which in all essence is the priority and should be the main focus when being a jiu-jitsu practitioner. I mean, how often do you see that gym rat who lives in the weight room, but when it's time to perform, when it counts on the mats, the strength and power he worked so hard on stays home? I was that guy who lived in the weight room, and while acquiring speed, strength, and power, all the things that you might think will make me a better athlete, for some reason it didn't. And it was because I would put the skill acquisition of my sport on the back burner, and I fell in love with really the weight room. And I don't get my message messed up. I really do think that it's important to build muscle, to build strength. All these things are things that are going to help you develop in your sport, but they're just a piece of the puzzle. Skill acquisition should be that main focus, like I mentioned before. So that's why the idea of just lifting 1 or 2 days and then really owning my skills in the gym when it comes to acquiring skills in grappling really entices this idea and solidifies why I'm currently doing a Mike Mentzer heavy-duty approach to weightlifting. Another point that Mike Mentzer really mentions about the recoverability when you're resting from those 4 to 7 days, he was a believer in zone 2 cardio. Now, zone 2 cardio is really going to humble you because you're really used to pushing and really trying to push that gas tank. I know as fighters, we don't think that we got any work done unless we're out of breath, unless we're pushing, unless we're bringing our body to absolute fatigue when it comes to cardio. But zone 2 does the complete opposite. Zone 2 is like when you're at a constant pace and you can carry on a conversation. Usually this zone comes from 125 beats per minute to, I believe, 155. And you're in that zone, and when you're doing this effort, which could be a fast walk, a very light jog, you can carry out a conversation for the duration of it. Now, this is such a great way of training for building that base when it comes to your conditioning. Something I've overlooked and something that's contributing to my overall practice in jiu-jitsu. So that concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please consider subscribing if there's anything that helped or anything that you might consider trying. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Done.